The compartmentalization again.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting study that I learned about that was looking at attachment styles, and they brought people into a lab, and in classic psychological study fashion, the study began before people realized the study began. And they're in this waiting room together, and over the far side is a computer, and the computer begins to just drift a little bit of smoke out, just a small amount, like it might be about to catch fire, something like that. Before they'd gone in, they'd done an attachment style assessment on it, all of the people that were in there, and there was some that were anxious, some that were avoidant, and there was some that were securely attached. What was interesting was the anxious people were the first ones that noticed that the smoke was coming out of the computer, but the avoidant people were the first ones out the door. And that explains why you need, in a Dunbar number 150 person tribe, why you need a variety of attachment styles. You need someone that's hyper-vigilant, who's always watching that ridge where sometimes the animals or the enemies come over, but you need other people that are decisive. And one of the skills that the avoidance side seem to have is an ability to compartmentalize. So the anxious people would be more likely to think, I mean, is it okay? Can we leave? Are we allowed to? Whereas the avoidant people are like, it's just a wily coyote, it's just a puff of dust, and they're gone. And what I thought was interesting about that was I imagined that I was putting together a police force or something, and you want the SWAT guys and the ERs, you want them on average to be avoidant. You want them to be able to compartmentalize what it is that they've got going on. Like, nope, I don't need you right now. This person needs me to look after them. But you want the detective to be anxious. You want him to pay a level of attention to things where they can't switch it off. They're thinking and ruminating. It was behind the kitchen door, like that's, and it's just interesting to me that the things which you are praised for in public, you pay for in private, and your inability to switch that sort of stuff off, like those adaptations that you've gone through, and the same traits and focus that make elite operators effective can probably make normal life and relationships extremely difficult.
It does, because at a certain point, you start to think that everything is just a time suck or a bandwidth suck. Like right now, this conversation we're having, it doesn't make me better at work. It doesn't. In fact, it just makes me want to go to work to avoid this right now. It really makes me just want to stay on deployment and not come home so I don't have to deal with this shit. And then you start to spit in venom. Talk about trauma, like it sacks up inside of you, gets the right. You guys got yards of beer in the UK, yeah? That's just trauma. It starts to come out of your mouth. It's hate, it's hostility, it's all this stuff. And before you know it, you can't control it. Every time you go home, just launching it. Well, the only place I never launch it is at work, because everybody else is the same as me. We talk about the same things. We only speak in movie quotes. We're on the same workout routine. We fight together, shoot together, sleep together, do everything together. And I never feel like I'm outside the group. I never feel like I'm a bother, ever. Every time I come home, I feel like this is not my place. It's not my place because I'm never here. You don't realize that while you're inside it. Like, I don't realize that I've been gone for 300 days this year. I wonder why I don't feel like this is my house. Like every time I come home, you change up. Why do I have all these pillows? Every time I come home, there's another pillow. Change the bedspread and all this stuff. Like you never really feel like you're there. You just recompartmentalize, right back to work.
Also, you're asking an awful lot of a partner, right? You're saying, hey, this connection that is going to be almost entirely severed, except for a few brief moments here and there across an entire year. When I come back, I want you to immediately drop into this. I've got my problems to go through, but I don't want to have to deal with the problems that you've got, because that's additional capacity that I've already blown.
Well said. This is exactly what it is. So now when I talk to the guys, I tell them, like, unless you lasso a unicorn, which I did. I mean, she was into it. She was in the Navy. She was married to a SEAL that got killed. Her dad was a SEAL. She knew the culture. She knew what she was getting into.
It's like she was bred to be the wife of a SEAL.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's like, I wanted that picture perfect life. I wanted my dream job. I wanted the house, the 2.5 kids, the Labrador, the white picket fence. I want everything taken care of. And every time I come home, I just resent it. Like, I know this is what I want, but you need so much attention from me that I cannot give you. And she just kept going. She'd show up. If tree fell in the house, she'd fix it.
Navy SEAL of wives.
I don't know how to do anything. Like, I don't know who cuts my grass. I don't know who to call if a tree does fall in the house. She does. She handles it all. So I got to focus on my craft the whole time. What sucked is trying to reintegrate. Because now it's like, hey, job's done. I've got a couple weeks off. Let's all be a happy family. And I don't know how to do it because I can't shut off. You're too hyper vigilant. I'm on a 10 all day long. I'm two-hand texting, just checking my phone, checking my phone, checking my phone. Hey, let's go on a vacation. I can't go on a vacation. Like, no, you just came back from deployment, let's go on a vacation. I'm not going on a vacation. I'm going on a jump trip. I got to get better at skydiving, not sitting in the Bahamas. I don't know what that does. It does make me better at CQB. No, not doing that. So we avoided that for the majority of our marriage. We just said, I couldn't justify it. That doesn't make me better at work. Doesn't. I wish I would have done it. But I tell the guys, if I would have spent my first 4 years really focused on the craft, I probably wouldn't have thought that I needed to burn all that time and all those reps later on in my career.
I don't know, man. I understand what you're saying. I get the feeling that that might be a comforting myth to tell yourself that if only I'd done it another way, I could have made it work in this manner later on. I get the sense that it is less like the pursuit of mastery and more like an addiction to work, that I just need to keep it going. Obviously, again, I'm now in row triple C at the fucking back of the stadium. I know enough people. I know people in bands, and bands are the same. You're on the road for 180, 200, 250 days of the year. Jimmy Carr is, I think he's doing 425 shows this year.
What?
Because he matinees the shows. So he'll do a 6 p.m. show and then an 8 p.m. show. He did, how many fucking dates did he do? He did like 100 and something dates just in Australia. It's absurd. It's absurd. But
it has to be obsessed. Have to be.
You do. And the same thing goes for the interesting thing about the comedian thing is typically they're traveling on their own or traveling with one warm up and tour manager. And I think there's a minimum sort of group size that you need in order to be able to make a microculture. And I think that's what really embeds people into it. Might make it easier in some ways, but probably makes it harder to integrate. Makes it easier when they're on the road, but harder to integrate when you get back. And that's where, if you look at people that are in bands, people that are in sports teams, professional sports teams, that is what's particularly difficult, I think, because you have created this new life. Well, it's you and your 5 bandmates. It's you and a squad of 15. And that's us, and this is what we do. And that reintegration is incredibly difficult, I think, to bring that back across. I think that's where the struggle comes in. But yeah, man, the prospect of trying to come back and doing this thing that you know that you care about and that you know is noble and that you're doing for the right reasons and that you're trying to make the world and your country a safer place, and to then come back and to have struggled to, I mean, again, as you said, you've got, it sounds like, as close to a gold standard partner, fucking bred for this. Maybe bred more to be a SEAL's wife than you were to be a SEAL, by the sounds of things. It really does surprise me. I'm not suggesting this, but it does surprise me that if the military cared that much about the integration and the performance, because presumably if everybody had had a partner like yours, which still had a shit ton of difficulties, there have to be many, many levels of hell below the one that you did when it comes to what's happening relationally that can't improve their performance when they're away. So if that's the case, why aren't the Army trying to have some sort of X Factor pop idol thing for, hey, we are going to help you find a partner, and we're actually going to help you and your partner to make sure that for the person that gets into a relationship with a special operator, they have the psychological accoutrements that are appropriate for them to actually be able to deal with this, and they're going to be able to support you, which would make you into a better person. It seems to me in very few areas, it's such an overbearing like incursion into somebody's life, right? Like, who the fuck, you mean that you're going to try and like screen partners so that, I get that, but when you're talking about, the most important military operations on the planet, I mean, if you're covering everything from, you said, I's are dotted, T's are crossed. Every single bullet and bomb and tactic, and I've worked thousands and thousands and thousands of jumps, and I've drilled this thing over and over again. A huge impact on your performance is going to be your relationship to your kids, what reintegration looks like when you get off duty, who it is that you choose as a partner, all of those things. So I don't know, maybe this is too softly skills, and you can always just like spit and sawdust and grit your teeth and Ambien and Adderall your way through it, and it kind of doesn't really matter that much because, like, okay, whatever, there's going to be some collateral damage that occurs relationally, but fuck it, the guys will just show up anyway. That's why we select people who can compartmentalize and put that stuff to one side. But it seems to me that even the capacity for compartmentalization could be used more effectively if it wasn't being drained relationally. Does that all make sense?
Yeah. Do you know what the divorce rate in the SEAL teams are?
No.
Over 100%.